We're proud to announce that today's podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Alpha Dental. Alpha Dental brings a new level of affordability and flexibility where traditional benefits fall short, with a low-cost bundle of healthcare discounts available to all employees and contractors. This episode is a special encore presentation of Work Trends. Welcome to the Work Trends podcast from Talent Culture. I'm your host, Megan Mbiro. Every week I interview interesting people who are reimagining work. And be sure to check out our Work Trends Twitter chat events calendar located at talentculture.com on the podcast page. Hello and welcome to the Talent Culture Work Trends podcast, brought to you by our special guest and sponsor, First Up. We are so glad you're joining us here at Talent Culture. It's the place where we find meaningful connections at work. And I'm your host, Megan Mbiro, and today we're talking about the employee journey. As you know, we are passionate about everything from the candidate experience to the importance of offboarding with finesse. But there's also a lot of magic that happens in between, and we're here to talk about it. But before we jump into today's podcast, go ahead and ask yourself these two questions. Number one, does your organization use employee journey mapping? And number two, do you believe that your current processes allow you to effectively reach employees at strategic points in time? So let's get started. Joining us today is Sabra Solero from First Up, and we are so pleased she's with us. As First Up CPO, Sabra Solero spearheads strategic talent initiatives, cultivating an inclusive, innovative workplace. With over 15 years in HR, she drives transformative change, champions diversity, and excels in crafting exceptional employee experiences. Skilled in coaching leaders, she curates high-performing teams, and this fosters that adaptability in these dynamic business environments that we are all living in, right? So we are so glad that you're with us today, Sabra. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am great. I'm so excited to be here.
We are stoked that you are here because you do so much. So I'm gonna dive right in.
That sounds great.
What should leaders who are experiencing high volumes of burnout and seeking new retention strategies do first to turn things around?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'll tell you, the first step before you try to fix anything is to really understand why your team is experiencing burnout. Where is that coming from? It can be so many things: excessive workload, lack of clear direction about KPIs and priorities. It can stem from clumsy first-line management, lack of autonomy, understaffing. The list kind of goes on. And a lot of times it's a combination of things. So I would say survey your employees, talk with your managers, join team meetings. The goal is to listen, to observe, and to really create an open dialogue about employees' experiences and their challenges, and to start hearing their suggestions for improvement. The goal here is to start to identify trends that are consistent both within individual teams and cross-functionally. Once you feel like you have a handle on why, then you can move into a strategy that addresses root cause. And just some examples, right? If the core issue is lack of clear prioritization, HR teams are uniquely situated to help managers and leaders start to identify key deliverables by team and position, and even more importantly, identify what can be deprioritized. If autonomy is the issue, then you start focusing on training and coaching, on delegation for your managers so they can be more effective.
Thank you for saying all this. We really need this, especially today. Retention is the name of the game, and we are setting the stage here for a great conversation on how to strategically hold on to talent. So please explain how to integrate people and HR leaders with communication teams to ensure successful collaboration, because to me, this is really where the magic happens.
It is. It's absolutely at the root of it. Because if you think about the foundation of any successful relationship, it's communication. And the employer-employee relationship isn't any different. So it's just crucial for HR teams to figure out how to become integrated with comms teams and vice versa. And to be fair, we just haven't always done it well. It doesn't necessarily come natural, especially when comms and HR teams sit in different departments. But ensuring alignment within those two groups can make a very direct positive impact on employee engagement, employee experience, productivity, all of which go back to retention.
So, this is such wonderful insight. And I think it's a common issue that our listeners face. And it definitely requires some thoughtful direction and effort, especially when we look at remote work and the complexities of multi generations collaborating together, whether we are in office or we are remote, living somewhere across the world, right? This is a little complex. So when we talk about true collaboration at work, what does that mean to you?
I think to me, it really means that teams have an opportunity to connect in pursuit of shared purpose. And that can get hard depending on how distributed you are, or how diverse your team is, or how different the goals may seem. But collaboration is getting to the root of those things that we're trying to accomplish together and bridging the gaps. And again, I think it really does go back to communication, finding that shared purpose, and then establishing a cadence and a pattern of communication that's manageable. I believe in this day and age, it requires tools and technology because you just don't have the same ease of conversation that you may have had in a different time, especially in a post-COVID world when the working environment looks so different and people consume culture in such a different way. When you can find the right technology, not more tech, God knows we have enough tech. When you find the right technology, the right resource to help eliminate some of that noise, you do get back to a place where people can talk and engage in a way that is meaningful and makes sense.
I love the hyper focus I'm hearing today. Okay. So, when creating an employee journey map, what are some unique milestones or creative considerations as we're getting groups together and talking?
When I think about the journey, I really think about it in it's 3 stages. It's this multi-dimensional journey. You've got the employee's path with you, right? Going from hire to retire. You have their personal journey, parental leave, they move, all the things that happen in our lives. And then you have the company's journey, right? We grow, we have a new strategic direction, we have an acquisition. So I would say in one part, when you think about the journey, open up your mind to think about all of those pieces because they're all interfacing at the same time. But I will say one of my favorite steps that I think is just overlooked is pre-boarding. When you start a new job, it's such a big moment in your life. It's part of your personal journey. It's part of your journey within the company. And we all know how important onboarding is, but so many times, I think HR says 64% of employees have received no pre-boarding at all. It's just silence from the time they sign the offer letter to their first day.
I almost fell off my chair just now. I'm like, that's a high number. It really is.
It's a big number. And there's more stats that show that any pre-boarding will boost the overall onboarding experience by 80%. So it's not a piece we can really afford to skip. And it's a pretty easy thing to jump in and add into your process, right? A welcome letter, a few things about what to expect, maybe a little bit of a heads up on what's coming from an IT setup. Just a few little things there can change the way they experience your company for the first time.
Awesome. Seriously, that's the one word that comes to mind. You have made some fabulous suggestions that I think our talent culture community can really use. So, this is an issue that's been around since, perhaps the dawn of civilization. Please discuss why organizations appear to focus on the customer experience more than the employee experience. And we're talking about beyond revenue generation, everyone?
I think it really comes down to the impact of a positive customer experience is immediately visible and measurable in terms of customer satisfaction, retention, and of course, revenue. So it's just widely understood that experience can enhance brand loyalty, new customers, differentiation. And while we have known in HR for a while, it's just now really growing recognition outside of HR that prioritizing the employee experience is so essential. I've got a few stats. BMC found that companies with high levels of employee engagement saw a 20% increase in sales. WTW research shows that organizations with high-performing employee experience achieve 3 times the revenue growth, 11 times the profit margin, and twice the return on equity compared to global averages. And there's so much more research from MIT, PwC, all the others. Tons out there. And it's our job to make sure that people know these numbers. Because really, it's about healthy business, not just making people feel good. Curating that experience, it does. It drives profits, it drives results, and it feels good, which is a nice added benefit.
Well, and this paradigm shift is critical for leaders and managers everywhere. It's just so important. So let's dive a little further into employees' needs. What are some tips for creating employee personas that translate to effective interaction?
Employee personas are actually so fun to create because they do set the stage for that more meaningful employee journey and that elevating your experience, right? I think the tip I would have, the very first thing is don't skimp on the research. We all feel like we know our companies, we know our employees, but there's a lot in there. If you start gathering insights through resumes and surveys, look at common career paths, what challenges people have, but really focus on your most successful and your impactful employees. When you start finding trends there, you're going to start to unlock things that will help them be even more successful and attract more of that type of individual. So dig in, start assembling as much as you can, and then start putting it on paper. We've got some templates on our last blog, but there's a ton of great employee persona templates. You want to get it documented, start looking at it, and just sitting with that information to say, if I were this person, based on what I'm hearing and I'm seeing, what do I need next? And then it's always, right, start with one thing. What is one unmet need for one persona? Close the gap. And then you can keep going.
Okay, I love this. I'm saying it to the world out loud. We are tying back to our earlier conversation about many sales and marketing departments, right? They're putting a ton of effort into target market personas, but it makes so much sense to do this work for your employees and your people. It's amazing. I love it.
It makes so much sense. I'll just add one thing. I think you mentioned the paradigm shift. In a post-COVID era, so much of that power dynamic has shifted. And if we don't think of our employees like customers and we don't curate that experience the way sales and marketing has been doing for years, we're going to lose the ultimate talent war that is, it's not going to stop, right? We're going to keep competing. And it's one of the most surefire ways to win.
And guess what? We all could use a win here and there, right?
That's right.
So let's get to how organizations use technology to create scalable programs focused on personalized employee experience.
Yeah, well, I'll say that no matter how great of a manager, a leader, a communicator you are, we can just only do so much in an analog way. And we've tried emails and system notifications, and they just aren't cutting it. So I feel so passionate about having an employee experience platform as part of your tech stack in HR. Next to my HRIS, it is the most powerful tool in my arsenal. And side by side, they allow us to create and curate these journeys for different personas, departments, employee groups, leveraging information that already exists right in our HRS. It's all connected. And so I can meet people where they are. And a great platform like First Up will learn about your employees' preferences along the way, and it will get smarter the more they use it to ensure they're seeing what they need when they need it. It'll help you manage things like tone and time of delivery. Does it go in an email or as an app notification? Because it knows when your employees are ready to engage. Then you get to harness that power of data analytics and artificial intelligence to gather more insights about their preferences, their behaviors, their engagement levels. When you start adding all that and then connecting in your other systems for your employees like PTO tracking or expense reimbursements so they have a one-stop shop, you really do provide this better digital employee experience, which is just part of our experience today. It's part of our world.
Okay, so here's where my love of HR tech comes into play. There is so much human in what you do, but technology is what makes it scalable and consistently actionable. And to me, taking action is the most critical step here, because so often we're caught in our own heads or we're navel gazing, right? We're thinking about it maybe, but if you don't, breaking news, everybody, if you don't actually do anything about it, nothing's getting done. So listen, time is flying. We're having so much fun. I've got my final question for you. Do you have any case studies that demonstrate how First Up was able to successfully help a client?
We do. We have tons of case studies that you can find on the website. One of my favorites is with Big Lots. There's a great video and write-up, but maybe the highlights. They have their custom branded intelligent communication platform. It's called The Beat. And they launched a video channel filled with training content that employees could access on their mobile devices anytime, anywhere. So they log in, right from their point of sale. They watch a clip, then they go do the thing right then in that moment.
Oh, wow. There is so much here. Be sure to check out First Up's case studies on their website, which is under the Customers tab on firstup.io. There are so many great examples there, from Big Lots to Boston Children's Hospital. Good stuff. Check it out. This was a great conversation with Sabra today. Here are a few takeaways that I think are worth recapping. Number one, hyper-targeted employee journeys are not pie in the sky. With the right guidance, your team can realize how to drastically improve the employee experience throughout their time with your organization. Number two, HR tech for the win again. Connecting human needs with technology that bolsters engagement, reaches people where they are on their journey, and ultimately it improves communication. Number three, embrace opportunities to understand your employees better and be proactive about their needs. By having personas, maps, and intelligent contact at critical points, the positive employee experience will drastically improve, as will employee retention. Thanks again for your time, Sabra. It has been a pleasure having you with us. Listeners, please be sure to check out firstup.io. And last but not least, the talent culture community wants to hear from you. Be sure to tag us with work trends so we can follow along. I've got some questions. Number one, what are some critical points in the employee life cycle that you believe leaders often overlook? Here's another one. Do you believe that employee mapping is part of your HR team's future? And number three, is your industry or business ready for hyper-personalized communication based on data? Let us know, because this is a huge topic. And you can visit us on X, LinkedIn, Instagram to share your responses to these questions, or feel free to contact me personally at Megan M. Bureau on social, or mbureau@talentculture.com. Thanks so much for listening to the Work Trends podcast. If you love what we do here, make sure to share our podcast with your friends and colleagues, or send us a question on the socials using the hashtag WorkTrends. See y'all soon. Thanks for joining us for today's conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Just a reminder that you can hear all the Work Trends podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on the podcast page at talentculture.com. Be sure to subscribe so you can listen on the go and stay up to date on all the latest news you want to hear. I look forward to catching up with you next time. I hope today's information made you wiser, happier, more informed, and most importantly, thinking of how you can use it to improve the quality of your life.